On the vast island of Mindanao, the deep south of the Philippines, in the bustling port town of General Santos City, tiny radio station DXMD has a reputation for tough reporting and highly critical editorials. It's where anchorman Dennis Cuesta liked to say he was going after the big fish, exposing local corruption and abuse of power. 1 year ago, after repeated threats to his life, Dennis Cuesta was shot to death on this street in broad daylight. Witnesses ID'd the gunman as a relative of the town mayor. No one has ever been arrested. Cuesta left behind a family with 7 children.
He liked his job so much.
Cuesta's wife, Gloria.
So he was not afraid. Whenever he discovered something, he would really tell in the radio.
He was not afraid.
He was not afraid, even his death.
For Filipino journalists, not just another homicide, but a frightening reminder that freedom of the press in the Philippines comes at a steep price. It wasn't supposed to be this way. In 1986, millions of Filipinos rose up against the dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos. Corazon Aquino, the modest widow of a slain opposition leader, leading a peaceful people power revolution that restored democracy to the Philippines, and with it, the liveliest press in Asia. Today in the Philippines, there have never been more newspapers in print or more points of view. Broadcast journalism has never been more influential. Yet in the 23 years since People Power, more than 70 journalists have been murdered for doing their jobs.
The irony is that this is one of the few places in Asia where you have actual legal protection for press freedom. But this is also one of the few places in Asia, or this is the only place in Asia where you have that many journalists being killed.
Luis Teodoro heads the Philippine Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility, a group that keeps exhaustive records on the murders of journalists, murders almost always tied to reports on corruption. The Philippines consistently ranks as one of the most corrupt countries in Asia. Those murdered over the last 2 decades had risked their lives reporting on government graft and illegal business activity. In one of the most high-profile cases, Marlene Garcia Esperat, an investigative journalist also from Mindanao, exposed a scam involving 2 regional officials of the Philippine Department of Agriculture. She was shot to death in her own home while eating dinner with her children. Garcia Esperat's death put intense pressure on President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, who promised the nation she would protect reporters and track down their killers. In a rare victory, the 3 hired assassins of Garcia Esperat were caught and convicted. But the 2 officials alleged to have hired them are well connected and they remain free.
Although the president may order the Philippine National Police run after the killers, despite that, what usually happens is that either the orders are ignored or the orders are regarded as not serious.
It's not that journalists haven't raised the alarm themselves. This dramatic documentary by Filipino reporter Howie Severino graphically illustrated how the murders threatened journalism itself here by intimidating reporters into second-guessing or censoring themselves.
I think in general it's had a chilling effect on our profession. How free can journalists really feel if there's this threat of being killed for something that they write or air?
The documentary also raises the controversial debate over whether journalists should arm themselves. Many here have already undergone weapons training. An urge I felt at times in the Philippines following death threats I received in 1990 while covering a string of military uprisings here. This is one of the blunt threats that was slipped under my hotel room door here. These 4 cigarette burns, I'm told, are symbolic of the 4 bullets that a group of disgruntled military officers were going to put into me. Of course, I was able to leave the country until things cooled down. Howie Severino and other Filipino journalists rarely have that option.
I get scared. I get scared for myself and for my family. Fear makes you more careful. I mean, I haven't stopped doing what I'm doing, but I have had to exercise extra precautions.
Still, there are times when caution is put aside.
Now, kini, giagi due process.
Down in General Santos City, radio anchorman Bong Gonzalez is keeping up the drumbeat, demanding justice for his friend Dennis Cuesta, the former anchor at DXMD, the murdered father of 7, gunned down here 1 year ago. At great risk to himself, Gonzalez even led us to local police headquarters to ask why an arrest warrant for the suspected gunman in the case hasn't been acted on.
Why can't he be arrested if this was issued 1 month ago?
But as of now, he's still he's hiding, or whatever we can find him.
He's hiding.
Find him, yes, sir.
You can't find him.
We cannot find him.
It's probably no surprise that the crime status board here shows no unsolved cases. The small staff at DXMD Radio says that's the way it always is in the Philippines when the victim is a journalist who's been warned to lay off the big fish. But Bong Gonzalez, choking back the tears,
I keep on praying to Lord Jesus that
says he won't be silenced. Neither will Cuesta's widow, Gloria, who has also received anonymous threats and warnings to stop pursuing her husband's case.
Are you proud that your husband was a journalist?
Yeah. For me, he's a hero. He did his job well. But even to his death, he was not afraid to tell the truth.
Gloria and her 7 children are now under the protection of bodyguards 24 hours a day. For World Focus, I'm Mark Litke in General Santos City, the Philippines.